Property Patriot, you are cleared hot.
Good morning, and happy Black Friday. I am Bud Evans, the host of the Aim High podcast. As always, joined, or not as always, but this time, again, joined by the beautiful and talented Kimmy Hansen, my co-host from the West Coast. Good morning, Kimmy. Can you hear me? Are you okay? Nothing at all. Oh my goodness, are we having another?
There we go.
You okay? Is everything
All
good?
right.
You got
I
it?
am back in business. I've got
I'm
you.
getting feedback.
Oh, geez. Guys, we are going to keep messing this up until we get it right. We have said that from day one.
So you get it right. That's what I tell the guys that work with me, my team, and that's what we say together. So here's the deal, guys. If you are looking for news, you're in the wrong place. You're just a couple of friends sitting around with some other friends, drinking coffee, discussing stuff that happened in real estate, badly, and throwing in a bad joke or two.
That is absolutely right, Bud. And I have got my Friday coffee cup. It says probably not coffee. And I have to tell you, it might actually not just be coffee in there today. The day after.
I got some Gentleman Jack, which I rarely do, but I had some Gentleman Jack, because it's Thanksgiving, so why not?
Yeah, why not?
Right? So, hey, before we get started, Kimmy, I just got to say, guys, if you are jumping on here and want to jump into the chat, we will be breaking for comments from the Peanut Gallery. Please go on to stop it. Play. Our producer's putting stuff up already. StreamYard.com/Facebook. StreamYard.com/Facebook. Oh my goodness. It's going to be one of those days, Kimmy. Hey, listen, I'm happy today because there's a football game on. And then there's hockey. Flyers are playing today at 1. And then there's these guys here, Penn State. We are, in case you didn't know, that's, my alma mater. It's where I got my MBA. So, yes. So we're looking forward to that. But if you are looking to jump in and get some banter and discussion going on, please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Enter your information so it doesn't just say Facebook guest. And I can stop doing this kind of stuff with my phone on a tripod. Right,
I know. I've got mine here.
Thingamajigger.
I have a prediction to make, Bud. Return crystal ball. My prediction is that we will have at least 3 or 4 people go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give authorization so that we can see your name in the chat because we love talking to you. Crystal ball loves hearing from all of us. This thing is lit today, Bud. It is lit.
Lit in a good way or lit in a bad way? Because here's the thing, Kimmy, I don't know about you, but I got to say, I'm not sure how everybody else's body handles Thanksgiving, but mine personally put on 8 pounds yesterday.
All I have to say is yesterday it took me quite a while to get, okay, but you like to cook. You're in the kitchen quite a bit, making some amazing dishes. Okay. So I don't mind cooking. It's not my favorite thing. I prefer to bake, but I don't like to eat all the things that I bake because me and sugar are just not bros. It's kind of like me and vodka, but anyway. So yesterday I have a plan, right? So my mom, we're like 3 minutes from my parents' house. And it was kind of weird. It was the first Thanksgiving ever where we had no children. So no one under the age of 18. It's just how it worked out. Justin's boys were with their mom. And my sweetheart, my little girl, was in Texas with her grandparents. More on that later. But it was just adults. And so I was talking to my mom about what she wanted me to bring. And she said, well, can you bring like a veggie, maybe a salad and a dessert? And I was like, yes. And I already knew in my head what I was going to make. I was going to make my famous salad. I call it my lunchtime salad because I take it all the time to work and I eat it here for lunch when I'm working from home. It is just spinach, arugula, craisins and Beecher's flagship cheese broken up in little pieces. And then I make my own vinaigrette and it's just delicious. And you can add, pine nuts or almonds or whatever you want to it. I didn't for this gathering because I couldn't remember which of my aunts didn't like almonds and whatever. So anyway, salad went first. Then I got my famous apple crisp, which is super easy, but everybody loves it. And so I was like, all right, I'll get that going. And then I had the babe in the kitchen, which is so weird. Then he was mandolining. Is that a verb? I think I just like a verb.
Mandolining. Verb, and that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, we're going to just make things up. So he was taking care of the sweet potatoes for me because they had to be tiny little rounds. Well, when you're cooking for a crowd, your brain typically automatically goes, I got to double this recipe, which I did. I doubled the salad, I doubled the apple crisp, and I doubled the sweet potatoes. It's a half-baked harvest recipe. I love half-baked harvest. And it's like thyme, oregano, butter, Parmesan, Asiago cheese. It's just delicious. Let me tell you
about my
about
own herb garden. You said thyme and it just struck me because I started my own herb garden. I got a little windowsill herb garden going on. My wife is absolutely amazed. Not a dad joke in there. I'm absolutely serious.
No, I absolutely applaud you for doing that, bud, because there's nothing like fresh herbs. And I actually got the herbs from my mom's herbs. I got them from my mom's garden. But here's the thing. I doubled the recipe, right? So the recipe says 6 small to medium sweet potatoes. Okay, but the stores, the day before Thanksgiving, when I sent the babe to get the sweet potatoes, he doesn't know that I just need some small one. They only had the jumbo, big sweet potatoes were gigantic. So I had a huge vat of sweet potatoes that were mandolined in my kitchen. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be way more than I need. And it sure was. It was. So here's what I did. I grabbed the air fryer, right? And as I'm cooking, so I'm pulling the apple crisp out, I'm prepping the potatoes to go in the cupcake tin because it's stacks of them. Oh my gosh, so delicious. But I'm putting those in and I'm throwing them in the air fryer with a little bit of grapeseed oil and some seasoning on top. And I'm pulling them out and switching the position in the oven and my dad is there and he's snacking and stuff. And I'm like, this literally, I ended up being in the kitchen for 4 hours for one dish. And it was just ridiculous. And I have half a freezer full of mandolined sweet potatoes. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but I've got it in there. And I just was like, shoot.
Listen, hey, there's nothing better than Thanksgiving leftovers. But, good morning to Edgar Brand, Billy and Ashley, Diane Street, Matt Becker.
Yeah.
And of course, Leigh, our wonderful producer. So
yes. And I see Yvonne in here too. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today as post Thanksgiving about how full we are. But you know what the best part about being post Thanksgiving is? It's time for Christmas.
Yeah. So who is doing Christmas? Do me a favor, drop it in the chat. Not a boom. Just drop it in the chat. What are you looking for today? Are you shopping today or are you just sleeping off the turkey hangover? That's our question.
Okay. That is our first poll, you guys. What are you doing?
What are you doing today? Are you shopping or eating? Hey, Zach. All right. So now Zach did pop up. No, Zach did not.
He did not.
Smart.
Yes.
No. That's you.
No, we cannot see.
Yeah. So check into that StreamYard.com/Facebook that Leigh just dropped into the comments.
Yes. So please do. Yes. Authorize so that we can see who we're talking to. And Bud, I have to say, I would love it if you, so I am going to commit to, because this is an easy commitment for me. I'm going to wear a Christmas themed shirt every Friday until Christmas and maybe a few Fridays after. I'm
going to wear this shirt and I'm not going to wash it. I didn't wash it today and I probably won't wash it until the bowl game.
Oh my gosh, Bud. Well, okay. So yours,
as long as they keep winning.
It's themed, it's Penn State, and it's clearly, it's not just a little bit stitious, it's superstitious because you're not watching it.
I get it. Oh, listen,
that's one for me.
Since your t-shirt is a country t-shirt.
It is.
How do you keep a country girl's attention?
With lots of coffee and probably
a tractor.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is the Tennessee Christmas t-shirt from Amy Grant. I love Amy Grant. I went to this concert, I don't know how many years ago. If you had pitched that to her producers, I bet they would have let her say the joke on stage. Yeah. That is amazing.
That would have been awesome. So first story for today is the United States real estate appraisal market insights and forecast. They're looking for an increased adoption of remote online notarization and digital real estate transactions. So here's the basis. The appraisal market is undergoing some changes and it's primarily driven by technological advancements. Hey guys, it used to be really difficult. You had to go out and do all of these appraisals in person, measure with a tape measure and all that kind of stuff. But it's because of the economies of scale, right? So we're increasing the technological advancement in this particular field. and we're seeing a value increase of 9.27 billion, growing at a rate of 4.24% during the forecasting period. So, increased penetration of technology, and within the appraisal, and then the rising of housing market activities, and then the growing adoption of remote online. I will tell you this, Kimmy, I have it's funny to me that you can do all of your purchasing stuff to get it into title, all, electronically signed and notarized. But when you're closing the deal, it all has to be wet signature. That is the dumbest thing in New Jersey. It is the dumbest thing. Why? Just why?
Well, honestly, I do feel that part of it is pushback against the advancement of technology. And as somebody who recently called for appraisal on one of my properties, given that there hadn't been additional significant improvements to the property since our last appraisal, they did what's called a desktop analysis. And actually, my friend Brandon Hargrins, Brandon, if you're watching, good morning, weigh in for us. We would love to hear from you.
We can even bring him on.
We could bring him on. I don't know if he's watching today. I know he's with family yesterday, but Brandon has explained to me a little bit more about the appraisal process and understanding that in an appraisal packet, you get really a thick document, right, of everything. Or with me online, scrolling through 24 pages of stuff, he taught me how to look at the gist versus the fluff, right? So there's a lot of stuff in an appraisal that is just there to attempt to legitimize it.
Almost sounds like an inspection.
And I have to tell you, if I were ever tempted to become licensed in anything, it would be appraisals and inspections. And now I know why my GC in AZ, Rick, now I know why he is licensed, bonded, insured as a contractor. He is licensed as an appraiser, and he's working on his inspector's license. Why? Not so he can make money doing these things, so that he can understand and better his business, because I need those skills. And if I can get all of those skills in my one-man band with Rick to do all of our GC stuff, not only is that going to save me money, but it's going to save me time, hassle, and effort. Because I got to tell you, when I'm scrolling through the appraisal and I'm trying to get what I need so that I can understand where it came from, I had no idea what I was looking for and what I wasn't. Good morning, Alicia. Thank you for joining us today. I had to have Brandon walk me through it. And he was just basically saying, in an appraisal, just like any other report or some kind of streamlined process that has been documented, there's stuff that you have to push through and read through. But Bud, what's going on right now, if we're pushing towards digitizing all of this stuff, I have some concerns, because it would speed up the process. But I feel like in speeding up the process,
how much
you
fraud
definitely lose some of the credibility. The desktop analysis that I had was awful.
Oh yeah. Listen, I almost lost a mortgage, HELOC on my property, on my house, my personal house, because we had someone who did a desktop appraisal and they appraised my house based on comps that were not even in my development. And we had over 200 homes in my development. And in my one section, we have over 100 properties. He could have just looked at the 3 that had recently been sold. He grossly undervalued my value, because he was using, properties from a distressed area about 2 zip codes away.
See, and that's what I don't understand. And in a desktop analysis, you don't get the benefit of conversing with your appraiser out the gate, because they're doing everything from a distance. Now, I am not saying that these appraisals are not accurate and that they're not valid. I'm saying that I feel like there is a vibrancy and an abundance of information that gets lost in the shuffle when we move towards digitizing everything. I don't know. What does everybody think? So weigh in on the comments. Please tell us what you think about adopting this all digital or remote online.
Would you like to close in Atlanta on your laptop while you're closing on a property in New Jersey or whatever your home state is? Or do you want to have somebody walk up with a folder full of papers that you have to sign over your breakfast table? No kidding. It happened to me with accidental egg yolks and coffee stains on the paperwork, because he put the paper down on the table. It's funny.
Well, the thing
Crystal is shopping, and Bill Alexson, good morning. Wow, Bill's on the show.
I've already got people requesting I already had a DM. Can I get the recipe for the potatoes? Yeah. I tell you what, I will post my Thanksgiving recipes that I created that I'm made. I'll post them in my REI later today. Just please know that I am not affiliated with any of the links that I'm sharing. It's just my recipes. That's all. So, yeah. Oh my God.
Through the technology, we're looking for poised growth and transformation, specifically due to the technological advancement. So, and the consumer growth indicates, hey, guys, we've been saying this all along. This is a robust real estate, sector. And based on our preferences, they're going to improvise, modify, adapt, and overcome. So good on you. Hopefully it all works out well.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm all for moving towards closing remotely. I think that's fine because it's just but an appraisal, like really, you have to have that personal. You really need to be there. It's tangible. It's you're assessing the value of something that is tangible. So you've got to be there and touch it, feel it, see it, understand it, get all of the sense for the place that you're assigning value to.
Bear Grylls.
Ooh.
Cool. So Kimmy, considering that yesterday was Thanksgiving, I got to ask you, what do you call a fat psychic?
A fat psychic?
Mm-hmm. A fortune teller.
Oh, bud. I tell you what, I'll drink to that.
Right. I feel like I need to. I feel like that needs to be whiskey when I start dropping nuggets of wisdom like that, But Kimmy, listen, I've always wanted like a big house or something like that. Well, here's look, I had a nice size house. Stephanie and I used to live in a really nice size house. We downsized into like this, 2,100 square foot townhouse, which is great, except now my office is in a bedroom instead of an office. So I like that portion of it. But if I didn't move, I wouldn't be where we are. And you and I would never have met. So I'm very happy that we sold that house and moved to New Jersey. On the other hand, a one-upsmanship by an island.
What? All I have to say, bud, is I don't know. I still think it's weird that we were like, hey, we're talking every week. Let's just live stream it. But also the one-upsmanship that your game has one-upped itself 100%. It's been almost 8 months since we've been doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to believe. And listen, for all of you crazy people who are currently watching, and if you are watching after the fact and you are still on here, 18 minutes later, thank you very much for watching. Hey, and if you are watching this now or you're watching this later, do us a favor. Not only go ahead and like and subscribe on the YouTube channel at the Aim High Podcast, but would you also tag a friend that might find some value and insight in whatever it is that we're doing, that it's just a podcast. So if you find somebody that might be interested, get them an invite into the Aim High REI so that they can hang out with us for 30 minutes every Friday and perhaps get some nuggets of wisdom throughout the week. Anyway.
Absolutely.
So getting back to the island, Kimmy, having a plane is pretty cool. And I'm not talking about Epstein Island, right? I don't even know if that'll probably get like that. They'll take this down if I say, that name again, but you can buy a plane. Or you can buy an island in San Francisco Bay.
An island? Like an entire island?
Like Red Rock Island. Yeah, like an entire island is currently for sale in the San Francisco area right now. So
is that the one that's
Tarek, if you're watching and you want to move slightly north and actually have the El Musa like planet, you can be like Ricus, right? You can have your own estate. There's an island. I don't think it'll have it. I think he loves the OC. I do.
Well, I think, Well, I do also love the OC. Of all the areas in California, it's my very favorite. But this is the island. Correct me if I'm wrong. It spans across 3 counties, technically.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just this like 5 mile. That's exactly what I was going to ask. Like, what? It's just this 5.5 mile stretch of Red Rock Island, and essentially. But it's my understanding that it was used, honestly, for something like in the early 19th century, mining manganese. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it's a thing. But
okay.
I mean, hazmat aside, it'd be a pretty cool thing to do, right?
What the frack?
Yeah, watch out for that. Don't say that to too many people in Oklahoma because they start shaking. I don't know if you're aware of that, but yeah, it's so you can, look. There's no existing infrastructure in the place, but you
Right.
could theoretically go on there and make it like the Family Guy. It was when he started his own country with his own house and like
Yeah.
Peter Griffin.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah. It was. Oh my God. We digress. We digress. Hey, good morning, Jennifer Balance. Thank you for joining us today. Bud, so this island, so it's undeveloped. So there are no buildings, no dwelling structures whatsoever, no electricity, no running water, nothing.
Yep. So now you would have to get somebody to come out there, put in septic, put in a well. You'd have to get somebody to I mean, you could do generators. That's really not an issue, right? Or solar or wind. I mean, wind, not a problem, right? Because that's you're in a valley, right? So,
well, it's in a valley, but also because it's technically an island, I would think that they would have the benefit of not having any of the wind that comes in to produce the theoretical energy that we're talking about. Nothing is obstructing it, right? So it has that advantage to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like you and I are just selling this island. That's what we're doing. And right now, it is actually listed for $25 million. So I feel like we should get a commission.
Is that all?
Yeah. Yeah. But the commission on $25 million would not be anything to laugh at. You know what I mean?
Joe Cohen, list that thing. It's probably already listed, but find somebody to buy it. Or better yet, hey, Joe Cohen, I told you about this place. Give me a referral.
Give me a referral. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Right. Why not?
Well, honestly, Bud, 3% of 25 million is like $750,000.
Yeah.
Imagine the damage that we could do with that.
Right. And listen, as a referral, I get like 75,000. I'll take it. It's easy.
That's right. Take 10% of the 3%. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Why not? It's referrals. Yes.
Yeah. So, well, Kimmy, last night I had a date and it was perfect. Tomorrow we'll have a fig.
A fate?
Fig.
Oh,
fig.
Oh, fig. Oh, I get it.
Fig.
Oh, and fate.
Fig. If I got to explain it, it's just that much worse. It's just so bad. That's just such a bad one. I'm going to take that one out of the rotation. I don't know if you know, like I just sit here and I have nothing else to do all day. I have like 600 dad jokes that I wrote down over the course of time. And I'm just like, that sounds like a good one. I'm going to pull that one out of my pocket at some point.
You have got to be the least bored guy that I know, but honestly.
Yeah. Listen, so this coming Monday, we have Levi Bloom, who will be on the podcast. He started out house hacking and then 2011, 2012, and now he's getting into private money lending. So he'll be on the podcast on Monday. And then immediately after that, the following week, we have a very good, he's a good friend and he's an author and he is absolutely outstanding with helping people with their finances as they grow. If you haven't read,
you've got it there.
It's not on the shelf. If you haven't read Profit First for Real Estate Investing, you should definitely read it. And David Richter not only is the author of that book, but he's also the CEO of Simple CFO. Simple CFO.
CFO. Yes. Yes. Wow. Simple CFO. That's CFO. Right.
Right. Too many acronyms, too many initialisms all in one sentence.
Well, it all gets very, yes. And if you haven't heard David Richter speak, by the way, you guys, I just told Bud this in our pregame show. He has such a unique way of delivering information to you. I've never once lost interest hearing him speak. And he's animated. He's excited about because he's passionate about it, as are we all. That's how we should be. And but I think excitement is absolutely pivotal. It's necessary because we're in the real estate sector. Okay. So not all of our projects are going to be equally enjoyable. For example, enlarging a drill hole is boring, but fastening pieces of metal together is riveting.
Oh, but I'm pumped. I get it. Right. That's all. So the great thing about David Richter, not only is he a great author, not only did I read his book, but I'm also a client.
I love that. I love that, Bud.
Yeah. So, I totally fanboyed out if you can't tell the over excitement. So Levi Bloom this week, house hacking, private investing. Next week, David Richter, Profit First for Investors. There's a whole series on that too, by the way.
There's a series on it. And I was just going to throw this out there for our community that's watching. And for those of you that are watching later, I had somebody say something to me this last week that I was like, how does this not make sense to them? They basically questioned, how do you have so much time to read and listen to podcasts or watch YouTube or whatever? I really don't have time to sit here and stare at my computer screen. I'm too busy with the businesses and the kids and everything. But you know what I do? So first of all, audiobooks are my jam. So if you can get an audiobook of any of the ones, Bud, that we have talked about and explained that how it changed our lives or whatever, if you can get an audiobook, I was a naysayer for years. And I thought, who would drive in their car and listen to audiobooks? I don't know if it was something about like turning the corner after 35 that I was just like, I am that person. I will be that boring. But the thing is, it's not boring at all. I find that I retain the information better when I listen to the audiobook. And you can also, especially with the Aim High podcast, you can go back and listen to older episodes.
Yep.
You can listen to some of the guests that were recently on if you missed them live. Not a problem. You can also go back and listen to some of our broadcasts too. We started throwing these Not News Fridays into the Aim High REI podcast a few months ago. And I encourage that when you're in the car or when you're, even if you're grocery shopping, put one headphone in, just, you have time. There is time.
Kim, you know what the one drawback to listening to audiobooks is?
What?
When you meet the author, they can't sign it.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah. So, I had to run out and I had to go get it. I had to go get the paperback. But by the way, if you read this book and you don't have the paperback, have a notepad and a pen ready because, my goodness, there's so much information that you need. Right. And
I always have a notepad and pen. And honestly, it doesn't matter how you get the information, like whatever works for you. But I also, Bud, suggest getting the actual physical book, even if you listen to the audiobook, because I'm the person that will, you guys, I know it's a sacrilegious to a lot of you. I write in my books. Okay. And I use my little sticky notes. I have tons of these, like I have at least 4 different sizes of sticky notes because I love to go back and reference it. And the amount of calls that I do during the week that are real estate related, it's just easier if I can see the sticky note, flip right to it and say, hey, in this book on this page is where I heard this and I want to suggest it to you, or jump into the book here with me and let's go over this piece so we can both get better together, because it's all about collaboration over competition.
Yep. So listen, before we go into the third story of the day, we appreciate anybody who's actually currently watching and anybody who's watching after the fact. So thank you very much for that. So guys, do me a favor and drop it in the chat if you've ever been to New York. Let me know if you've ever been to New York City, because...
Well, I have been to New York City.
Right? Yeah. So I've been there. It has been, we used to go there a lot more than we do now because we used to love opera and the shows and all that stuff. And Matt Pickney is in our Aim High REI, 2-time author, 2-time Tony Award winner, and he's part of the Aim High REI. So shout out to Matt and his incredible wife, who's the reason that he's got the second Tony. So, and the real estate investors and multifamily property. So just drop an NYC in the chat if you've been there before.
So we've got Jennifer Balance that says, yes, she's been there. I was there in 2016. That was an exciting trip. We got to meet, you've been to Hoboken. You've seen the Cake Boss. Please tell me. No,
I've seen the Cake Boss and I've tasted the cake.
Okay. So we got to disappoint. Well, we got to meet him. Ellie Jo was 3 and she was fangirling in his bakery. It's crazy. And they were filming that day. So there's some episode of Cake Boss somewhere that 3-year-old Ellie appears on. I don't know which episode or whatever, but she's on there at some point. So we've got a lot of people weighing in here, Bud. So myself, Jennifer Balance, Billy and Ashley Medina, Diane Street, Crystal, went in my college years, basically. Ooh, Billy and Ashley. That's okay. You still went. So we've got about 8 to 10 of us, Bud, that have been to NYC.
Excellent. Well, if you've ever seen the Metropolitan Tower, it's on 57th Street in Midtown, and it is currently So Kimmy, you know, and I know that there are certain ways that you can pick up a building for no money down, right?
There are.
Right. But there are also ways that you can purchase the debt against the building and then assume ownership.
Assume ownership?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you are going to, let's say hypothetically, go to a bank and buy the debt on a certain building that has, let's say hypothetically, was the main component of where WeWork was. And it's essentially about to go bankrupt, right? So
yeah,
GDS Development and Sable Investment Holdings purchased the distressed debt of Metropolitan Towers office. So they're most likely going to foreclose on the property and then assume ownership of it. Take ownership of it. Take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got Carolyn saying, what?
Wait, what? Yeah. True story. Like you can go and buy, you can do this with tax liens too. It's a whole system. Yep. You can go out like, Matt Marinoff was on, I believe it was Matt. No, it was not. A couple episodes ago, we had someone on talking specifically about note investing, and that's performing notes, right? These would be underperforming notes, and you're purchasing these properties knowing that these guys are not going to pay their debt. So then you foreclose on them and then take possession of the property. That's also another tactic. You can do the same with tax liens, where you go in and you go to a municipality and you purchase the tax liens or the county, and you pay off their liens for taxes, and then they owe you the money.
Correct.
Average interest rate on that cash is 16%, I believe, roughly average.
It's a niche investing area in real estate. And actually we have
kind of a dick move though.
I know, but it's a way to cash flow, right? And especially honestly, if you're in between projects or if you don't have another project coming up in the pipeline right away, it is a way to close the gap and have continuous residual income. We have a mutual friend, Bud, that just did a presentation on this, Lisa Romano. And so we should at some point bring her on here and explain, because I know that she had some exposure in that area and she loves to talk. She has a way of delivering the information that just made it make sense so much faster than anything I could read or listen to. And also, so when Carolyn said, wait, what? This is actually, it's related to another topic that we've talked about on this live stream before. We have talked about deed in lieu of foreclosure. That is basically if I am lending to Bud on a project, and Bud would never do this, but if I was going to lend to Bud and we had a promissory note and a deed in lieu of foreclosure, as well as a personal guarantee in place, when I lend him the money for whatever project or whatever, let's say Bud, for some reason, he can't fulfill the obligations of the note. And in this case, I don't know Bud personally. I'm not friends with him, whatever. Essentially, there are a couple of ways to handle that. And one of them is deed in lieu of foreclosure. This is essentially what we're talking about, but on a larger scale. Okay. So this is just,
scale. This is a huge building. Yeah.
Yes, it's huge. And we've been talking about WeWork for months, Bud. And
office buildings in Manhattan, right? So this is just, it reflects the current state of the real estate market where these, right. So these distressed properties present a lot of opportunities. Now it's not all sunshine and unicorns and rainbows, as I like to say. They don't poop vanilla ice cream. Here's the deal. Right? Here's the deal. They still, even though WeWork is out and they basically said like, yeah, we're not renewing your lease. They still have to stabilize this property once they take possession of it. But it's definitely going to have a huge impact on New York's resurgence or complete and total failure.
I got the crystal ball out because I wanted to talk about that exactly, but I actually think it does have the propensity to bring back some of this thriving metropolitan area that was there. But we've been talking about this with my crystal ball regarding WeWork and not just the company, but honestly, the model that they have, right? So essentially the model is mixed use, right? And that's this particular structure that we're talking about. But WeWork offers flexible workspace. But since we're all remote for the most part now, or at least there's enough flexibility in the traditional job market for so many of us to be remote, there is less and less demand for a space needed like
office building. That's right. Nobody wants office space. I've seen a lot of movement towards individual spaces. Like, you need a place, you have to have a physical office. So they'll buy like a box inside of an
Right.
office, and then they'll go
Yep.
there. I'm doing it right now with Mark Ricci. I mean, he's got his own office. Second
Yep.
Street Property Management is a desk in his office. So,
Yep.
that's just kind of the nature of the beast. Good morning, Taha. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the
Yes.
party,
Hi,
buddy.
Taha. Thank you for joining us. It's so good to see your name pop up here. Yeah,
Right?
Bud, we have been talking about this flexible workspace, but honestly, Bud, when we're talking about renting it's just like a salon, right? So it's like you rent a
Oh,
space
don't even get me started.
in a salon.
Stephanie owns a
But
salon. I can't even get a haircut. I'm just going to say,
I know, but okay. So aside from that, though, her stylist could rent a space in her salon, and then their business is there in Stephanie's building, in the
Yep.
space that she operates her business in. And then within that business, there are other little businesses. Do you know
LLC,
what?
each one as an LLC. Yeah.
Correct. And that's what I was getting at. Each one of these little things has an LLC. What happens though, if I want to, okay, true story. I want to put an offer in on a couple of properties in Texas to be rentals, to be buy and holds for me. I don't necessarily have a space there in terms of a physical office, but what I do have, I can open an LLC and I can list a registered agent address. That is where mail would need to go for my business. And it would need to be a legal place
Yep.
that I could receive mail and communications at. It's the same theory, because let me tell you, I just went to Texas last weekend. We were visiting extended family. It's actually Ellie Joe's grandparents on her dad's side of the family. Justin and I took Tanner and Ellie down there. They live way out in East Texas, and it is amazing. We loved it. Everything was spread out. There wasn't a ton of thriving metropolis in the area. It was just glorious. And then we drove about 20 minutes out and we visited Texas A&M Commerce. Guess what we did? We walked a property, Bud. So I actually get to write off this trip because we have put in an offer on 2 properties in Commerce, Texas to be buy and holds for us. And my registered agent, my registered LLC that I'm going to create in Texas, if my offer is accepted, it's going to be at one of our extended family's homes so that I can get mail there. I know that they'll help me out. Being in Washington, so my first remote investment was from Washington to Arizona, and I'm going further and further east. So I'm branching into Texas. I did not start this game thinking that I would be the remote investor. That is not at all what I thought I would be doing. But you have to use things like this in this business as you acquire entities and buildings, and in this case, mixed use, tax liens, bad debts, whatever. This is just a larger scale. But you and I, Bud, we do this all the time.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
It's one of those
I'm in a
things.
whole
Bang. Like, so, it's like this. Why did the tomato get embarrassed? It saw the salad dressing. That's not like a
Oh my-
second grade joke right there. I don't even know
No,
if that's a quality dad joke or not. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
I don't know if that was a quality dad joke.
No segue or anything. Just why not?
No segue, nothing. It was rough. That was a rough landing. That's where you'd see the rim fall off of a tire.
Or the tire fall off the car, and then the car just
tire fall
flies
off the
and
car.
skid. And there's sparks shooting out of the base of it. Anyway,
Oh man. Oh, I
Oh,
know.
my
Yeah.
that's so funny.
So going back though to this is really, we're talking about a distressed debt, right? That's
Yeah.
the topic of conversation here. And so as we talked about, this reflects the current market dynamics, what we've seen shifting, what you and I have been talking about for at least 6 months now, Bud. But then furthermore, not only
Genius.
not only is this going to have implications like you talked about on the city.
Geni. Is it genius or genius? Geni or geniuses?
Why are you trying to make it plural?
Because I'm saying that we.
Geniuses. Yes.
Geni. I like Geni. Live in a bottle.
You know what? We're just making up words today.
Mandolin is such a trick in the neck.
That was good. That was from Aladdin. I love it. Yeah. So we have mandolining. That was my word that I made up today. And we have Geni.
Geni.
Whatever.
That are
Anyway.
genius, whatever. Genius is. Hey, listen, if James Cameron can spell Genesis with a Y, I can say Geni. crying
Oh,
out loud.
that sounds terrible.
It was.
That being
It
my
was a
coffee
horrible
taster.
movie and a horrible. Anyway,
Ugh.
they ruined the Terminator franchise. Whatever. All right. So
Well, but there's a lot. So what we're talking about here with this last article that we're discussing, honestly, not for us, but for those involved, there's a lot of math involved. But I got to ask you, why do you think that the math book, right? The book of all things, whatever you want to call it in this situation, why do you think it looks so sad?
oh goodness, here we go. Well, first off, I say the math, MAF. That's number one. But go ahead. I don't know the answer to that one. Hit me.
It looks sad because of all of its problems. I slay me.
All right. Yeah. Right. Oh my goodness. Okay. So let's. Rosie the timekeeping dog has shown up. So it is time to start.
It's time to start wrapping this up.
Tearing down.
Are you gonna share your leftovers with Rosie?
No turkey for dogs.
No turkey for dogs.
No turkey for dogs. The
No
triple
turducken?
fan has a problem with their bullies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I do have to say before we wrap this up, but I want to give a big happy birthday shout out to my friend, Ivan Leva. It was his birthday today, and I know he's
Happy
celebrating
birthday,
with his
Ivan.
kid. Yes, happy birthday. But as always, this is so much fun. I admit this is the first time in 3 months we've done a live stream together.
Right. I know. Oh my goodness. So, for the 750 people that watched us a couple of weeks ago, these are the three things we went over. We talked about the real estate appraisal market and how technology is affecting it. We talked about the sale or the potential sale of a private island in California, in San Francisco. And we talked about Ariel Bank selling Metropolitan Towers office debt. So guys, if you like what you're hearing and get some value, do us a favor, share this group with other budding real estate investors and check out check out the Aim High podcast on Apple or Spotify or wherever you guys listen to your podcast. And don't forget to tag anyone you feel as though might be interested in either the podcast or the Aim High REI. So for Kimmy Hansen, my co-host from the West Coast, I am Bud Evans, host of the Aim High podcast. And that is Rosie, the timekeeping dog, saying Aim High. Thanks for being a part of the Aim High community. Your support drives us to create valuable content, and we can't wait to see your success stories in real estate investing. Till next time, aim high, never stop learning. Bud Evans, signing off. We'll see you soon.